Thanks very much, Cameron. Just put my video back on. So if you've got any questions, can you please post them in the chat? We've got some time now allocated for questions for Cameron, so please feel free now to provide your questions. I do have one, Cameron, in terms of what the next steps are for further disseminating these findings out to land managers and engaging with them about what this means for those businesses.
Yeah, obviously we've been holding a few presentations and workshops. Just this week we had a workshop in Dalby for feral pig, domestic pig breeders and anyone involved in that industry. We're potentially holding another one in Kingaroy next year, and yeah, very, very keen to present as much as we can out to as far and wide as we possibly can. These works have obviously been put into scientific papers, but yeah, very keen to present that in more, I guess, layman's terms, more, yeah.
So are there moves then to put together a series of fact sheets to be able to help with doing that, Cameron? Really
yeah, we certainly can. We have talked about doing that. Some fact sheets that we yeah, can present to people with I guess this information presented in a way that's relevant to them.
Yeah, okay. We've just got a comment from Di Evans asking about whether the information could be included on the Pest Smart website. That we can follow that up and see what the best ways are to present this out.
Yeah, no worries.
Are there any other questions from the audience? So one here from Adam Quinn. Can we contact Cameron about getting data that can be used when we run programs? So how could local programs be able to link in with the findings that you have?
Do you mean the actual data from the feral pig collaring stuff we did, or is that the data on how we actually run the analysis?
That's a good question. Here we go. The response back was that they're wanting the aerial programs to be more effective. So in lots of ways, it's maybe that you've got guidelines there about where to go and look for feral pigs, for example, but how you can utilise the information that's been generated.
Yeah, I don't know of anywhere there's any guidelines. Obviously, it depends on the environment that you're in. Like I said before, if you're in really dense vegetation, aerial shooting is not going to be very effective at all. And it's really reliant upon a lot of people being involved in it. You can't just have one or two people involved, and it's got to be quite a wide landscape approach. And the more people are involved in it, obviously, the more efficient it is.
Perfect. A question from Rod Nielsen. Do you have a list of the analyses that you've done using these data? Because they're looking at tracking some pigs in the summer, and knowing what you've done would be great.
I don't have a list, but I can put it together pretty easily. I don't know if my email's on here somewhere, but if feel free to send me an email, Rod, and yeah, I can provide you with a list for sure.
Okay, just a minute or so more left in this for questions. So, well, one here from Peter Adams. Landscape preference map looks like a useful way to target landscape control techniques. Have you looked at the potential temporal overlap of control techniques such as aerial culling during daylight?
We actually planning our next little bit of research is we've got some calls on some pigs at the moment near Westmar, and part of that is we're looking at their movements around aerial shooting, and of course, yeah, we'll look into the temporal analysis of that too.
Okay. In response, to Di Evans's question about with the publishing and scientific literature, I think you are, aren't you, Cameron?
Yeah. So this work's been put into two published papers. One I think got accepted this morning. One's still under review, so they'll be out soon. The literature review, it'll be published internally within DAF, but so it'll be just a DAF publication, not a scientific literature.
Terrific. All right.